Secrets from the Future by MC Frontalot here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. The War and Peace Report. We're broadcasting on over 850 stations now, on Pacifica and NPR stations, low-power FM and college community radio stations, on public access TV and PBS TV stations, and both TV satellite networks, on Dish Network Channel 9415, Free Speech TV 9410, Link TV, and on DirecTV Channel 375. And we're video-audio podcasting at democracynow.org. Our headlines also available in Spanish for any radio station to take, as over 250 are. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. As we talk about the WikiLeaks video that has led to, well, a kind of what's been described as a manhunt for the founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. This is a clip from the Iraq video released by WikiLeaks. It is about July 2007 attack in Baghdad. This is the moment the U.S. forces first opened fire.
They're 1 o'clock. Haven't seen anything since then.
Just once you get on, just open them up.
Okay, Roger. I see your element. You got about 4 Humvees out along this.
You're clear.
All right, firing. Line here. When the state line let me know when you have it.
What shoot? Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260s.
Come on, fire. Hey, Roger.
Keep shoot. Keep shoot.
Bushmaster 2-6. Bushmaster 2-6. We need to move time now.
All right, we just engaged all 8 individuals.
Minutes later, the video shows U.S. forces watching as a van pulls up to evacuate the wounded. They again opened fire, killing several more people, wounding 2 children inside the van.
Where's that van at? Right down there by the body. Okay, yeah. Bushmaster, Crazy Horse, we have individuals going to the scene. Looks like possibly picking up bodies and weapons.
Hey, we need to stop that so we can get down there. We need to shoot. You see my look?
Roger. Break. Crazy Horse 1-8. Request permission to engage. Picking up the wounded. Yeah, we're trying to get permission to engage. Come on, let us shoot. Bushmaster, Crazy Horse 1-8. We're taking him. Bushmaster, Crazy Horse 1-8.
It's Bushmaster 7. Go ahead.
Roger, we have a black SUV or bongo truck picking up the box. Request permission to engage.
Bushmaster 7, Roger. This is Bushmaster 7, Roger. Engage.
1-8, engage. Clear. Come on. Clear. Clear. We're engaged. Coming around clear. Roger. Trying to, clear. Roger, I lost him in the... I got him. Should have a van in the middle of the road with about 12 to 15 bodies. Oh yeah, look at that. Right through the windshield.
That was the videotape that was released by WikiLeaks. It was classified U.S. military video showing a U.S. helicopter gunship indiscriminately firing on Iraqi civilians, killing 12 people, including a photographer and a driver for Reuters news agency. Actually, Reuters news agency had applied under Freedom of Information Act to get this videotape. They never were able to. Our guests are Birgitta Jonsdottir, member of the Icelandic Parliament, co-producer of what they call the videotape, Collateral Murder. Daniel Ellsberg, with us in University of California, Berkeley, the most famous whistleblower of the United States, released the Pentagon Papers that many say helped to end the war in Vietnam, and Glenn Greenwald, political and legal blogger for Salon.com. Daniel Ellsberg, let's go to you. The reports are that the Pentagon is searching for Julian Assange. They've already arrested the soldier in intelligence who says he was responsible for the release of the videotape. He's been held for 3 weeks without charge. What are your comments on this case?
Well, of course, I was in the position of Bradley Manning, having decided that I was in the possession of information that the public deserved to know and the Congress deserved to know, and that had been wrongfully withheld. And at my own risk, I released it just as Manning has done. At the same time, I was in the position of Julian Assange this week, eluding authorities while I was preparing to put out further secrets. Assange is more in the position of the New York Times and the Post and 17 other newspapers, who received classified information from me. But in my case, as I was putting it out to them, it was essential for me not to be apprehended so that I could get those copies to them. I hope that Julian stays out long enough to give us, for example, the tape of the other massacre in Afghanistan, the Gorani massacre, which allegedly killed some 140 civilians.
Well, Daniel Ellsberg, this whole issue of the 260,000 classified documents that include quite a bit of apparently cable communication between State Department officials and diplomats, what's the potential here in terms of, you're familiar with cable traffic between diplomats. What is the potential embarrassment that the United States faces here?
Well, the potential embarrassment is foreshadowed by the leak of the cables from Lieutenant General Eikenberry, our emissary in Kabul, the ambassador to Kabul, whose cables were leaked by some patriot, and I say that with consideration here, someone who properly put out those cables, showing that Eikenberry regarded the man to whom he was accredited as irredeemably corrupt, an inappropriate partner for pacification, who held no promise of supporting any progress from our point of view there ever, and who was deeply involved in the drug trade, et cetera, et cetera. Since he was someone who was soon to be feted by the president personally in the Oval Office and given a tour of garden spots in Georgetown by Secretary of State Clinton, it was, of course, embarrassing to have cables from our ambassador there calling him a drug-dealing crook who had stolen the election and was totally incompetent and offered no possibility of progress. That kind of embarrassment could appear with our relations with most of the dictatorial regimes we've been supporting in the Middle East for years, as in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and elsewhere. Any candid assessments like that would, of course, would actually recommend the realism to us of our own officials, that they have their feet on the ground, even while they're lying to us about who it is they're supporting and what they hope to achieve.
I wanted to go back, Daniel Ellsberg, to your reference to Gorani. From the Guardian newspaper, it says that WikiLeaks has this classified Pentagon video from Afghanistan alleged to show the notorious U.S. airstrike on the village of Gorani in May 2009 that killed roughly 140 civilians. While the U.S. disputes the Afghan government's casualty figure, it put the number at around 20 to 30 civilians, and said that twice as many militants had been killed in the strike. A military investigation concluded that U.S. personnel made significant errors during the attacks. The Gorani airstrike is believed to be one of the deadliest attacks in terms of civilian casualties of the U.S. invasion. Are you calling for WikiLeaks to post this videotape online?
Well, first of all, I'd call for President Obama to post that videotape online. Let's see whether it confirms what his officials and Bush officials said about it earlier, or what the truth is. Has he seen it himself? He certainly should. He has access to it. And if he does, what excuse would he have for not revealing it? So why is he waiting for WikiLeaks to use its sources to decrypt that when he can just easily release it, as he should have some time ago? It raises the same questions, and I hope they'll be addressed this time, as they were not addressed, the same questions, for the Apache helicopter assault that you just saw. Namely, who was it who decided that this was not suitable for Freedom of Information Act release, that it deserved classification on national security grounds? Was that appealed upwards when Reuters was applying for that? Did President Obama himself take a position on that? And if not, who below him? What were the criteria that led to denying this to the public? And how do they stand up when we actually see the results? Is anybody going to be held accountable for wrongly withholding evidence of war crimes in this case, and the refusal to prosecute them or hold anyone accountable? More seriously, two members of that same company of the Apache assault, Josh Stieber and Ethan McCord, I think their names, who did an absolutely admirable move stimulated by Assange's release, and perhaps Bradley Manning's release of this videotape. They expressed remorse to the Iraqi people for their participation in the activities of this company, Ethan McCord was the very man, I don't know if you showed him just now, who actually got the 2 wounded children, ran off and got the 2 wounded children from the vehicle and saved their lives. And both of them expressed great remorse for what they'd done and made the statement from their experience that this sort of massacre was an everyday occurrence. Now that's what requires real investigation. Is that being done? The same will be true of Guarani. And finally, for the press to look at, what were they reporting at the time? What was the government saying about these 2 massacres? How does it stand up when we really look at the facts? And what is the media to make of their